Hey guys, how's it going? This is RBT, bringing you a different video today. I know Thursday's my usual Red Sox video, but not too much on the Red Sox front to report today, and I've been wanting to do this type of video for a really long time. This video is going to be, as the title says, a wish list for what I wish EA Sports would include into NCAA Football 2014. I mean, NCAA 13 was a really good game, but it definitely has its flaws, and with the technology that game companies have today, I know they can add in certain things that many people want, not just myself. The things I'm going to say in this video aren't just my ideas. I looked around on the internet and got a few ideas from different websites what people would like included to the game and say just a little bit about it. And whatever you guys want to see included in the game, comment below. If this video can get a lot of hits, I mean, maybe somebody from EA would watch this and maybe consider actually implementing it to the game next year. I mean, I know it's only been 3 or so months since NCAA 13s came out, but I mean, it's never too early to go ahead and throw some ideas out there. And I put them all on a little list. Here it is. First of all, it would be really cool to have a college game day pregame segment for like the biggest game of the week. I mean, like if you have a number 1 and 2 matchup, have something before the game that's kind of like college game day. Have where you have Lee Corso have a headgear pick for whoever he thinks is going to win the game. I mean, that used to be in the game in the old PSP versions. I mean, why can't they bring it in the game now? I mean, I know it's definitely possible, and it would be something really cool to add into the game. Next, something little is in the recruiting section of the game. If you're a smaller school, you most of the time really heavily rely on recruiting JUCOs, and there's not just a queue to search for JUCOs only. There's when you find JUCOs, it's really random, and you get really lucky when you come across a JUCO. So I mean, it'd be a lot easier if you just had a section where you can search for JUCOs, and that would make recruiting for smaller schools that much easier and that much more efficient. And yeah, and other thing is, it'd be really cool to upload FCS schools without taking out teams. I mean, I don't really see why you have to take out teams and replace them when you're adding an FCS school. I don't like that, and I know it's really easily that's a problem that could be fixed. I mean, you shouldn't have to take out teams. You should just be able to add them in like college football does every year. Something I know a bunch of people would want to see is in the game next year, have it where 2014 they have the playoff system. I mean that's realistic. That's what's going to happen. So I'm pretty sure they would do this. Go ahead and add the playoff, not for the first year, but for the second year and so on. Better commentary. I know you guys are sick of hearing the same exact thing every single year. It's never talking about players. It's always talking about he ran to the left, he's running to the right, throws it deep. It's never something like player interaction, and that's something that I think should definitely improve on throughout the year, because it's been the same for the last few years, and I know everybody wants better commentary because that makes it more realistic. You should have the option to delete different conferences and move the teams that's in that conferences to move other conferences, or just delete teams. Just completely delete them. I mean, you should have that option. It's not a big deal, and that definitely should be something looked into. The option to have a medical red shirt. I mean, if your player gets hurt the first, second game of the year, you should be able to like apply to have a medical red shirt. Maybe maybe from time to time the NCAA will deny it on the game, but I mean, it's still something that you should look into. I mean, it sucks that you have a senior a redshirt senior that's played 1 game, so his actual red shirt's took away, but he gets hurt for the season, and you won't ever get to play with him again. That shouldn't happen. You should be able to apply for a medical red shirt just like you can in real life. Something that's really big and it's so annoying, can you please fix the loading screen time? Every single time I play NCAA Football 13, it takes about a good 2-3 minutes for the game to load and go into the starting screen. That's something that happened in the last year's game too. I mean, I don't understand why that happens. It's ridiculous. It really didn't happen as soon as the game came out, but as months go on and as they add in patches, it seems like it takes forever for the game to load, and that's something that shouldn't happen. Different quarterback throw motions. I think you should be able to have a certain list of quarterback motions you should be able to pick from to give your quarterback, and that's something I really think should be added in that makes it more realistic. It'd be way more realistic not to have every quarterback have the same exact throwing motion. An option to have the Senior Bowl. It'd be really cool to have a Senior Bowl to play with all your seniors, and the better seniors go to that game. It'd be really cool to play that. Definitely neutral game sites during the season. I don't understand why they're not in there already. I mean, you have the neutral sites, but you never get to play them during the season, which is so stupid. And I mean, that definitely should be something that's fixed, and it very easily could be fixed. Just have to have some different stuff put in there. I mean, you have the sites there on the game. It's just not during the season, which that makes no sense to me. But definitely have neutral game sites during the season. Suspensions, I don't understand. I mean, that's a big part of football. Players get suspended. I know it probably would make people angry on the game, but I mean, it happens. It's realistic. It should be on the game. Players get suspended for various different reasons for various different times. I mean, maybe for a game, maybe for the whole season. It depends on what they do. And yeah. And something that's with the recruiting again, I think the recruiting overall should be improved year on and year out, but they definitely should add on early enrollees. And if you add on early enrollees, you should be able for that freshman to be able to gain points and what do they call it, training results, be able to add points to those overall throughout the training results. And that's something that should be in there. I mean, you have early enrollees each year. Alabama has a bunch of players that are early enrollee. If you know Amari Cooper, the absolute stud receiver for Alabama, he was an early enrollee, and that's why he's as good as he is, because he has just about a whole year in the system already, even though he's a freshman. And has something that should be put in the game, and the freshmen should be able to go through the training camp to get better points added onto their overall. Definitely make a crowd more of a factor. You shouldn't. I mean, if it's third and goal, up against the student section at Bryant-Denny Stadium, it should be just about impossible to be able to score. You shouldn't really be able to audible, and just definitely somehow make the crowd noise and a bigger crowd more of a factor. I saw somebody put something about creating new rivalries. I mean, if you're a school, it's hard to. If you're a new school, it's hard to like be able to have a recruiting pitch of when more than 50% of your rivalry games. When you have one rivalry game, you should be able to create new rivalries within schools. I mean, it should be automatic. Like if you play a school for 5 straight years and it's a close game, or you just keep playing them year in and year out, and that should be a new rivalry. It should just be automatically assumed and added onto the game. Or you should just be able to manually just be able to say, hey, South Alabama, and I want to have a new rivalry with Troy University. I mean, 2 close schools, you should be able to do that. And something that makes no sense to me: why do they keep having 75-man rosters when in real life it's 85-man rosters? Each school should have an 85-man roster just like they have in real life, and I don't understand why that's never been fixed, and that should definitely be fixed. An option to make an offensive or defensive or both offensive defensive captain. That'd be a really cool feature to have instead of just impact players. Be able to actually have that player be a captain. Maybe that could even be a recruiting pitch. Definitely improve the fans and the sidelines. It's kind of lame to see the sidelines how they are. All the players look exactly the same. And I guess this falls into the category of sidelines. Add in a chain gang. I mean, if the call's short, I mean, if it's a 4th and inches and you run a quarterback sneak, you should be able to see the chain gang come out and see how close the call is. If you got the first down, if your team a little bit short, that'd be something really cool. That used to be in the game. I don't know why it isn't either. I mean, there's so many old things that were back in the old NCAA 2005 games that were on the PSP that I don't understand why they're not still in the game now. That's retarded to me. But yeah, improve the fans and sidelines. Have different broadcast crews. You shouldn't have Kirk Herbstreit broadcasting a game between Louisiana Lafayette and Troy. You should have him only broadcasting the bigger games of the week, and you should have different TV channels on the game. Like if you have a game of Alabama and Western Kentucky, instead of being on ESPN, that should be on ESPNU. I mean, you should have an ESPN2 channel for the decent games, ESPNU channel for the mediocre games, because I mean you can't go out and do pay-per-view or anything like that because they only have the rights to ESPN. and just regular ESPN or maybe even ABC for the big time games, the big time matchups, and to just definitely have different broadcast crews, because you shouldn't have Arkansas State and whoever playing on ESPN with Herb Street being the broadcaster. That's something that'd be really cool. Better wide receiver corner interaction. I saw a bunch of people saying that, and it's really noticeable how the corner and wide receiver never really interact between each other. They never bump into each other unless it's really glitchy, unless it's just a glitch that makes that happen. They just definitely need to add in better wide receiver and corner interaction. It'd be really cool to have coach ratings. I mean, if you create a coach or just coaches in general, I mean, having an option to hire a head coach and it should be affected by what their coach rating is. I mean, if you win a national championship, you should go up however many points, and you get my drift there. Have big time recruits. You shouldn't just have. I mean, yeah, it'd be very rare, but I mean, you need to have recruits every once in a while that are just absolutely amazing. Like, they should come in. Not every number one player in the country should come in as like an 80 overall. I mean, some players are better than that. You had I mean, look at TJ Yeldon. He should be a 90-something overall. He should, like Jadeveon Clowney, he should have been a 90-something overall. And you have those players every once in a while. And it seems like an NCAA 13, you never have a player the highest I've ever had a player come in as is like an 84, 85. You should have, once in a while, have at least one or two players come in as a high 80, maybe even a low 90. I mean, that's realistic. That happens from time to time. Maybe even on National Signing Day, if like you have top recruits that haven't decided yet, maybe even have a type of video where they pick from a hat or something of where they're going to commit to. That'd be really cool to have, a nice little add-on that could easily be made. And more with recruiting, I mean, if it should be a big factor if you have a guy and a recruit and he has somebody from the same high school. I mean, you should be able to get packages like that. I mean, if I was a recruit and I had a best friend that's going to the same high school that's a good recruit, I mean, it should have somewhat of an influence on me where that guy's going to school. I mean, that's just an obvious thing. And maybe like with recruiting, even have something like twins. I mean, if you have a twin that plays football and he's a 5-star recruit, more than likely the other twin's going to be a 5-star recruit. Maybe even have packages like that too. And just add more to recruiting. It needs to be more detailed and have a lot more influences in it. I already said chain gang. And something that was in the game a long time ago, Heisman Trophy presentation. That should definitely be in the game. It's a really cool feature. It's not that hard to do. They did it in the past, and it's just a cool way to announce a Heisman. And they used to have it. Why can't they have it now? So that's been my wish list for NCAA Football 13. Hope you guys enjoyed. Let me know in the comments below on what you think of what I proposed, and let me know if there's something else that I didn't talk about that you would like to see in the game for next year. So I hope you guys enjoyed, and I think the thumbnail of this video is going to be a picture of Colin Klein, because I think he's going to end up being the NCAA 14 cover athlete, and I think I used paint to make it 14 instead of 13 because I couldn't find any NCAA 14 covers on Google. So I hope you guys enjoyed. Subscribe if you haven't already. Have a great day, and roll tide, go Sox, and go Titans. I'll see you guys later.